Hey there, thanks for being here. If you enjoy my channel, a quick like would mean a lot. I truly appreciate it. I thought my wife was just a little distant lately. You know, work stress, the usual marriage blues. But then I found a phone she never told me about. What I uncovered destroyed everything, and I mean everything. But I didn't just walk away. I made her pay. My name's David. I'm just a regular guy. I'm not rich, not famous, not flashy, but I've worked hard every single day to give my wife, Susan, a good life. We've been married 12 years, built everything from the ground up, 2 kids, a modest home in the suburbs. I work in logistics. She's in marketing. Nothing wild, just your average, steady American life. At least that's what I thought we were. People used to tell us we looked like one of those solid couples. You know the ones? Still holding hands in the grocery store, still laughing at inside jokes over dinner. We'd been through tough times before, job losses, her dad's passing, my mom's illness, but we always pulled through. Together. Or so, I believed. But looking back, I realize I was the one holding everything together. While Susan had already let go, it was subtle at first. She stopped laughing at my jokes, started scrolling her phone a lot more, always tilting the screen away when I passed by. She said she was just tired lately. That work was intense, and I believed her. I mean, why wouldn't I? This was Susan, my partner, my best friend, the mother of my kids. But then came the little cracks. She stopped wearing her wedding ring to work, said it got in the way when she typed. She suddenly had after-hours meetings, twice a week, always on Thursdays and Sundays. She said they were prepping for a big campaign. I brought her takeout one night as a surprise. But she wasn't there. She didn't even know I came by. But even then, I told myself not to jump to conclusions. Maybe she stepped out. Maybe the meeting got moved. Maybe I was just overthinking things. Because the truth is, when you love someone, your brain tries everything to protect that illusion. But illusions crack. And the truth doesn't knock. It barges in, loud, ugly, and impossible to ignore. For me, it showed up in the form of something small, something seemingly harmless, a forgotten burner phone, hidden at the bottom of Susan's gym bag. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I wasn't present enough. Maybe work had me too stressed. Maybe we were just in a rut and needed a weekend away to reconnect. You know, normal marriage stuff. But this wasn't just stress. This was off. Susan had become someone I didn't recognize. She used to light up when I walked in the room. Now? She barely looked up from her phone. She used to ask how my day was. Now, she answered with one-word replies, eyes glued to the screen. And that phone? It never left her side. She even started taking it into the bathroom, sleeping with it, under her pillow. It wasn't just new boundaries. It was secrecy. She changed her passwords. She turned off message previews. She even disabled Face ID on her iPhone and went back to an old 6-digit code. I only knew because I saw her type it in once, twice. She said she was overwhelmed, that she needed space, that she was going through something. I offered support, told her I was here, told her we could get through anything, like we always had. She smiled. That fake polite smile people give when they've already checked out. And then came the perfume, new, expensive, something I didn't recognize. She said it was a free sample from work, but it wasn't just on her neck, it was on her inner thighs. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there staring at the ceiling, feeling like a stranger in my own marriage. Something deep in my gut was screaming at me, but I still didn't want to believe it. Until I found the gym bag she forgot to take the next morning and zipped open a pocket she probably thought I'd never check. That's when I saw it. The burner phone. I sat there staring at it for what felt like hours, a cheap black burner phone. No case, no lock screen, just tucked into a zippered side pocket like it was nothing, like it wasn't the nuclear bomb that would blow up my entire reality. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. But I powered it on. No password, No mercy. The moment it lit up, it hit me like a freight train. Dozens of messages from names I didn't recognize. One guy named Greg. Saved as G with a briefcase emoji. The other was saved as Mason with a fire emoji next to it. Classy. I opened the first thread. Still taste you on my lips. Can't stop thinking about last night. He made me dinner and massaged my feet again. I almost felt guilty. Almost. You. Always know what I need, baby. I hate going home after being with you. There were pictures, too. Ones I can't erase from my memory no matter how hard I try. Her in outfits I'd never seen before. Lingerie I didn't buy. Hotel beds. Selfies with that smug, lipstick-smeared smirk. It was like she was living a completely different life. One where I was the fool. And the other guy? Mason? He wasn't just a side fling. She was emotionally attached to him. She called him her escape, said she was only staying with me for the kids, that she was working on an exit plan. That part wrecked me, not just the lies, but the fact that she was planning to leave while letting me do school drop-offs, fold laundry, and cook her dinner like some blind idiot. I wanted to scream, throw the phone across the room, wake her up and demand answers. But I didn't. I took screenshots, copied everything, every message, every photo, every breadcrumb of betrayal, because this wasn't just cheating anymore. This was war, and I was done playing the fool. If you're still listening, please hit the like button. It's just a simple click for you, but it means the world to me. After the shock wore off, something inside me changed. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I went cold. This wasn't a marriage anymore. It was a performance. And Susan? She'd been faking her role so long she probably thought she deserved an Oscar. But I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of knowing I knew. No, I'd seen enough revenge movies to know. The quiet ones always win, so I started planning. I backed up everything from the burner phone. Messages, photos, voice notes. I emailed it all to myself under a secure folder titled Susan's Greatest Hits, just in case. Then I started documenting her behavior. I placed a discreet voice-activated recorder in our bedroom, another in the car. I kept track of every time she claimed to be working late or going to yoga. I even followed her once. Guess what? Yoga class was actually room 407 at the Westbridge Hotel. She didn't even use a fake name at the front desk. The woman was so arrogant, she used our shared last name. But I wasn't just gathering evidence for the sake of my pride. I was building a legal fortress. I met with a divorce lawyer, one of the best in the state. I laid everything out. The phone, the proof, the financials, the kids. He looked at me and said, "David, I've seen worse, but you've already done most of the legwork. You keep this quiet until I tell you to move." And I did, for 3 more weeks. 3 weeks of pretending I didn't know that the woman sleeping beside me was betraying me in every possible way. I kissed her goodnight. I packed her lunch. I helped our kids make her a birthday card. And the whole time, I was building the trap. Because when I finally confronted her, I wanted nothing left for her to twist. No denials, no sob stories, just cold, brutal truth. And the consequences she never saw coming. It was a Thursday, her usual yoga night. The kids were at my sister's for a sleepover. I told Susan I had to work late and wouldn't be home until midnight. She smiled, kissed my cheek, and said, "Don't work too hard." The second she walked out, I followed her. I parked 3 cars behind, lights off. She pulled into the Westbridge Hotel, just like I knew she would. Same spot, same routine, like clockwork. I watched her walk in wearing that same tight black dress I'd never seen before, phone in hand, texting someone she swore didn't exist. That was the last time I saw her as my wife, because when she got back home that night, the trap was ready. I waited in the living room, burner phone on the coffee table, laptop open. The screen showed a slideshow of every photo, every message, every filthy little secret. She walked in humming. She froze the second she saw it. Her face went white, like every blood vessel in her body screamed and shut down at once. "What is this?" she croaked. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't cry, I simply said, "Sit down, we need to talk." She tried to play dumb. "It's not what it looks like," she said. So I hit play on a voice recording. Her in our bedroom, talking to Mason on speakerphone, calling me a boring roommate she tolerated. Her eyes welled up. "David, no." I snapped. "You don't get to talk." I told her everything I knew, named every hotel, quoted every message, played the voice memo where she laughed about me making her dinner while she snuck off to sleep with other men. She crumbled, collapsed to the floor, begged, cried, offered to fix it, but I just stared at her like a stranger, because that's exactly what she'd become. And then I handed her an envelope. Inside was the divorce petition. She screamed. I smiled, because of the real punishment was still coming. I didn't stop at the divorce papers. No, that would have been mercy. And Susan didn't deserve mercy. She built this mess, lied for months, laughed behind my back, slept in my bed while making plans to leave me behind like trash on the curb. So, I made sure she lost everything she tried to keep. The next day I sent the screenshots and voice memos to her HR department. Why? Because Mason, her affair partner, was her co-worker. Turns out their company had a very strict no fraternization policy, especially for managers. Mason was her team lead, married with 2 kids of his own. By 5 p.m., I got a message from someone I barely knew in her office. "Bro, you just lit this place on fire." Mason was terminated on the spot. His wife? She found out through me. I sent her a neat little package with labeled files. Mason's Late Nights, Volumes 1-3. She responded with, "Thank you. He's gone." As for Susan, she didn't get fired, but she was asked to resign. Apparently, her private life had become a workplace liability. No one wanted to sit next to her. The people she used to gossip with, ghosted. Her professional reputation, shattered. And that social circle she bragged about, the wine night group chats, they turned on her too. Some of them were moms from our kids' school. And guess what? I sent them the truth too. I didn't have to say much. The screenshots spoke for themselves. She showed up to pick up our daughter one day and was met with silence, side eyes, whispering. The same friends who used to call her strong and amazing now looked at her like a walking virus. She called me that night sobbing. "Why are you doing this?" I just replied, "I'm not doing anything, Susan. You did this. I'm just making sure it's seen." She hung up. "It's been 6 months. I've got full custody of the kids. I hired a therapist to help them process." The days after the dust settled felt eerily quiet. No more late-night anxiety. No fake kisses on the cheek. No wondering why my wife smelled like expensive cologne she didn't wear for me. Just silence and peace. I focused on rebuilding. I got into therapy. Not because I was broken, but because I refused to carry her damage into my future. I started hitting the gym again. Cleaned up my diet, took the kids hiking on weekends, laughed more, slept better. Actually started living again instead of just surviving. But Susan, she wasn't thriving. She was unraveling. Without her job, she lost her income. And with the divorce, proceedings moving fast, her finances were about to get even tighter. The prenup, which she had insisted on years ago when she earned more than me, backfired, big time. It locked her out of spousal support. And because of the documentation I provided, proof of infidelity and misconduct, I got majority custody of the kids. The court ruled she could have supervised visitation until she got her emotional stability in check. She cried in court, the kind of crying that makes strangers uncomfortable. Snot, shaking, the whole breakdown. Her own attorney looked like he wanted to disappear. Meanwhile, I sat there calm, stoic, because I wasn't angry anymore. Just done. She moved into a small apartment with peeling paint and a broken heater. Mason? He ghosted her weeks after losing his job. Turns out he wasn't in it for love, just the thrill of cheating with someone else's wife. I saw her once at the grocery store. No makeup, wearing an oversized hoodie, hair in a frizzy bun. She avoided eye contact like a criminal dodging a camera. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel pain, I didn't feel hate, I just felt nothing. Because the woman I once loved, she's gone. And the one who took her place deserved everything she got. If you're watching this and feel that pit in your stomach, trust it. Sometimes the person sleeping next to you isn't who you think they are. Don't ignore the signs. Don't silence your instincts. And never, never let someone make you feel guilty for asking questions. Because in the end, the truth always finds a way out. And when it does, make sure it burns everything they built on lies. Comment your thoughts below. Have you ever caught someone living a double life? Let's talk. Your story might help someone else going through it. Like if you believe cheating should always have consequences. Subscribe for more real-life stories of betrayal, revenge, and redemption. New episodes every week.